Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel Techie Siddharth. As I promised earlier, today in this video we will be having an interaction with a multi-talented and passionate Android developer. So please watch the video till the end to get some really good tips regarding your career and how you can become an Android developer yourself regardless that you don't know DSA or competitive coding. So without further ado, let's get started. So a little about our guest. He graduated from VIT Vellore with BTech CSE, and now he has been working for almost 2 years as an Android developer. And currently he's working at Bikai. In his spare time, he creates videos on learning Android development, which are really amazing. So you can check the description below for the link to his channel. So without any wasting any more time, welcome Sohail.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your channel.
So let us start with my very first question to you. We all are eager to know about your professional journey till now. So can you please put some light on it?
Sure. So as soon as I entered the college for my BTech, I came across one chapter called CodeChef, and there a senior told me about this Android development domain. And as I already had a background in Java, as I belonged to an ICC school before, so I thought that I should try this out for some time. So I tried this particular domain, and I found that it is very intriguing and very interesting. As at that time, not many people around in my circle were doing this. So gradually, I started learning more about Android development and applying for different internships, taking part in different hackathons. And like finally, after like 3-4 years, I almost did like 5 internships and at least I suppose 10 to 15 hackathons, and that helped me gain much more experience and knowledge, which finally helped me land my full-time job as an Android developer.
Wow, that's really amazing. So, Sohail, as we enter in college, we just hear that there is something called Android development. So, how you come to know about it and figured out that yes, Android development is for me, and I can make my career into this.
So this was not the first thing which I started doing. So I, as every individual who gets into the BTech CS program, especially, starts mainly developing websites, learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all the basic fundamentals around it. I also did the same for some time. Then after a while, I researched a bit. I talked to my seniors. I got to know about different paths in the software development environment or software development ecosystem. So after doing a bit of research, giving some time to the different domains, I like finally made up my mind that I want to do this because it feels very different, as everyone was not doing the same thing at that time. Most of the people were working on the front end part. So that made me more interested toward this particular domain, and I thought of pursuing this as my full-time career.
So, if I'm not wrong, it's like you have to give some time in figuring out your interest and domain, right?
Yeah. So what you have to do is you can't just like start working or like doing like 1 or 2 hours a day and think of like after a week that it's not for me or it's for me. You have to give some amount of time, at least from my perspective, at least 1 to 2 months, and you have to understand all the basic fundamentals at least of the domain you are trying to learn, not just seeing some videos and documents and just trying to replicate those and thinking of that you know everything about the particular domain.
Yeah.
But you have to give some more time and try to figure out things which you are not able to find at different places and try to see how you can implement this to a real-time problem. So once you do that, then you can finally say that this particular domain is for me or this is not for me, or I'm interested in this or I'm not interested in this. So that is how I figured out. I tried out different things in different domains and then finally figured out that I am very much keen towards learning this particular Android development domain. So I thought of pursuing it.
Okay. So this raises my next question to you that in college, everyone says do DSA, competitive coding, all the seniors will say like this. So only then you will get a good job. So what is your opinion on this? Like, is it true or is it just a myth?
I think it's not completely true, like you need to have a good understanding of DSA and bit of, not, I won't say competitive coding. Competitive coding is up to you. If you are interested in pursuing coding competitively, then you can go for it. But if you just want to learn how to structure a code, how to write a code, and how to write good code, then you need to have some knowledge of DSA and algorithms. But if you come to the development cycle, the development part, I would suggest that opting the OOPS concept is also plays a very major role in the development cycle. So apart from having some knowledge or having a good knowledge in DSA, I think OOPS also plays a very huge part in the development cycle. So the coding will help you to crack your interviews or the coding around and all those things. But when you start working practically, you will come to understand that along with DSA, OOPS also plays a very huge part in it. I would say OOPS, design pattern, design systems, testing, and all these things which we don't look or for which we don't work on in the college days. But I think those also plays a very huge part in the project cycle or in the product.
Okay. So now a very important question to you, Sohail. When and how you started applying off campus for Android developer role?
So in my placement, during my placements, not many companies came for the role I was looking for. Although I applied to a lot of companies, thinking of that after a while or after some time I might land the a job or the role I am looking for. But I think hardly one or two companies came with the exact profile of an Android developer. Rest were the generic SD roles, SD1, and all those. So that after a while, it depends upon the company which role or which specific domain they will ask you to work on. Mostly, it would be either backend or either front end web development part. So after I had a backup, I would say, offer from from a bigger MNC. But later on, I decided I'm not much interested in working over there. I would rather be a part of a startup working as an Android developer than be a part of an MNC where I'm not interested to work. So once I got that mindset, I thought of applying to a lot of different jobs, mainly via LinkedIn. So as I had a decent, or like I would say an above average profile on LinkedIn, I thought of why not to use it to my advantage. So I applied for like 30, 35, 40 companies or startups at that time, thinking of at least someone will shortlist my profile. So that actually helped me to land my internship as my final semester. I'm a final semester internship, and then also helped me land my internship.
Wow, that's great. So now very funny question to you. Like we see like there are several people, those who are having, job offers. Some are having one, some are having two. So since you applied off campus, so how many offers you had at that time? And if you can tell us some companies' names also.
Uh, when I went for the placement of the campus placements, I got only, as I said, I had only one offer from an MNC. I won't think so. I can't say the name for that particular company because I have already
Yeah,
left that company. So
right.
there was one company, and then after a while, I would say that mid level startups were there where I applied. I won't don't think so many of the people will know the names because they are not as famous as Zomato, Swiggy, and all those.
Right.
So I applied for a lot of them, and the company where I'm working right now was the first company which shortlisted my profile. So I accepted the offer because I found the job as well as the profile and everything very decent for me. And after that, after accepting the offer, if I remember it correctly, I suppose I got like I was shortlisted for at least like 6, 7 companies, I suppose, for the next phase of the interviews and all those. But I was shortlisted. My profile was shortlisted for 5 or 6 different companies. Even after that, like after 1 year or after 6 months, even after that, people like companies still approach via LinkedIn or via phone, by email for the Android developer jobs and all those things. It still happens. But at that time, if I remember correctly, I suppose 6, 7, I suppose companies shortlisted me.
That's a
like
huge
copy.
number. Yeah. So it's like, they are seeing your profile later on. They are saying like, oh, this is Android developer. We should call him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think
So,
the internship played a very huge part for me. Like since I did 4 5 internships during my college time and had like the entire profile which on my resume is surrounded with Android development. There is nothing else over there apart from some projects related to Spring and Java. So I think that made the recruiters more interested towards my profile.
yes, you were like focused from from the very beginning itself.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now, Sohail, I have one question. Like when we enter into the college, there are two categories of students. One is first year
Mhm.
students who just entered the college and they don't know much, right? So they just heard about like, okay, there is something under development. And others are final year students, those who have already went through so many topics, so many domains, but they want to start in Android development. So what will be your advice to both the section and how they can proceed and learn?
So for the first section, for the beginners, for the first year, second year students, I would suggest them to go through the language specifically. First of all, to understand how the language is working, may it be Java, may it be Kotlin, whatever they prefer. But I would suggest them to learn Kotlin as it is much demand at right now. So if they first of all need to understand how the language is working and not directly start with the Android part, since they don't have any prior expertise in the language part, so the language would be the first thing they should learn. Then after they learn the language and understand how things are working, they should start with the fundamentals of the Android development part. They should understand how Android is working, what is happening in the background, what is its life cycle, the basic theory part, and then slowly and steadily work on the fundamentals of the Android development. They'd be creating an activity, creating an XML file, creating UI, creating intents, opening a different activity, and things like that. And after a while, they can switch to different topics, different subdomains inside Android development, because Android development is very vast in general. There can be a lot of subdivisions inside it. There can be someone who's very interested in creating games for for Android on Android OS. They
Right.
can look for that. There can be someone who is much interested towards the e-commerce domain. So they can
Right.
have an expertise in creating the architecture and structure for that. So they can then, after a while, look for different subdomains and try to figure out what they are much interested in and create respective projects in different domains. That would help them to create a very good profile by the end of the, I suppose, 3 4 years. And for the second part, for the other category, for the third and fourth year students, as I would think that they would have already some sort of language experience. They might have learned either one or two languages in the 3 or 4 years. So let's say
Right.
if they don't know Kotlin or Java, also they understand the how language works, because the fundamental behind all the languages are same, but the syntax are different. So they need to understand how to write the syntax of that particular language. So that would make it very quick for them to start with the Android part. They can easily switch to a different language, and I would suggest them to. I would also think that since they have already been a part for like 3 or 4 years, they might have worked on some sort of project. So they understand how projects work. So I would suggest them to create small projects directly if they can, after understanding or learning the basics of the language. They can create very small basic projects and then just focus on the keys, the key subdomains. It can maybe be the animation, or it can be the database. They can create small apps reflecting these subdomains, which would amplify their profile in this particular Android domain. So that would be my suggestion to both the guys.
Nice. So, as we see, like there is a lot of development already going on, and we earlier have Java, and now we have new technologies like Kotlin and Flutter. So, what's your opinion on the future scope of these?
So at this time, at this moment, I think Kotlin is very far ahead in this particular case. And as the company behind Kotlin is very big, JetBrains. So they are coming up with very new technology frameworks surrounded with Kotlin. They have something called multi-platform. They have something called Ktor. They are trying to use Kotlin in as many different domains as possible for creating desktop applications, for creating mobile applications, even for creating server-side applications also. So there is very vast use cases for Kotlin, and very big companies are also converting to Kotlin. I Some of the bigger companies are like Netflix, Amazon, I suppose also, but Netflix for sure, if I remember it correctly, they have transitioned to Kotlin. They're using Kotlin like throughout their projects, or like some projects. So I would say that Kotlin is very far ahead. And regarding the Flutter is also very good. It's very good in terms of the UI part. It has very good components and things with the UI. But at this time, I would say it's not as mature as uh, as Kotlin. Still has lots and lots of issues, but people and like very small companies are using Flutter to create their apps, since they don't have much resources, and since they want to create applications for both the operating system, Android and iOS. So the small companies, mainly or majorly the small companies, are looking forward to using Flutter. But I still think it will need some time to polish and to be much more stable than it is right now.
Okay. And since Android is, already having a large market share, so I don't think that there will
Yeah,
be any other king in the near
yeah.
future.
Because Android, I suppose, is see, if you look on the web, you will see mainly the people in US and those countries are using iPhones and iOS, because
Right.
those countries, the majority of the people are having the iPhones. So if you look at the market share over there, Android will be lesser in terms of the numbers. But apart from the North American region, if you look
Right.
out throughout the globe, there is a very huge market, majorly in Europe, Asia, South America. There is very huge market related to Android.
Mm, mm. Okay. So my final question of this session to you is, if we want to summarize the whole session, so according to you, what will be the road to Android developer and what will be your quick tips?
So, quick tips, so I would suggest that, as I said before, the main key towards learning any domain, may it be Android or may it be any other domain, is to understand all the fundamentals and not directly jump to the big thing possible, next big thing possible. Not to directly start writing the projects and all by seeing some videos on the internet. It would be much more beneficial if you understand how things are working, and what you are writing is how it is working in the behind, the background.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
shouldn't be like you're writing one line just for the sake of it, just for running a code, and you don't understand how it is working,
Right. Right.
because that wouldn't make much more sense once you get into the professional aspect of it. Because once you get into the professional uh, the job, you need to understand each and everything, as there can be certain conditions, certain needs where you need to manipulate the already built-in functions and classes. So I would suggest them to the major takeaway I can give is to uh, make sure that all the fundamentals are clear, and then slow and steadily try to create small projects and move forward. So two things I would say, that one is to understand all the fundamentals and then create as many projects as you can. And if you are interested in applying off campus, the third tip would be to create a very good online profile. Maybe it can be YouTube videos, it can be GitHub profiles, it can be a very good LinkedIn profile. It can be any of those things. Just try to have some sort of online presence where you can display your projects.
So it's like, building the base, then work on projects, and then build a profile, overall profile.
Yeah.
Okay. So with this, we will end this session with Sohail. And I would say, like, I'm really inspired with you, and that, without thinking about anything, you just stayed on track and followed the journey with a great focus. So thank you so much, Sohail, for joining with us today and sharing your knowledge and wonderful journey with us.
Thank you for having me on your channel.
If you like this video, please tell me your thoughts and suggestions in the comment box below. And if you want your domain to be covered, you can tell me that as well. This is it for time being. Please hit like, share, subscribe for my upcoming videos. Till then, take care and goodbye.